Welcome to Milan's Linate airport, the closest airport of 3 to the city of Milan itself. I'm here today to catch a flight to Belgium on the Belgian national carrier Brussels Airlines. Let's go and see what they're all about. Welcome to Blake Edgington Airborne. So I spent a bit of time here in Milan's Linate airport, and it's not a bad place to spend a couple of hours. The ceilings are a little bit low, it's an older design of airports, so it can feel a bit claustrophobic in places, but there's a really good selection of shops and restaurants, certainly plenty to keep yourself entertained. But that's enough for the airport, let's get to the flight on Brussels Airlines. Well on our way to Brussels now, so let's take a couple of minutes to have a look around the seat area that you could expect if you travel on board Brussels Airlines A319. So starting at the top of the seat on the Brussels Airlines A319, you'll find your literature pocket, which contains your safety card, in-flight menu that you saw moments ago, and the Brussels Airlines in-flight magazine. Now this is a fairly common design of seat around Europe, and you'll see that at the bottom of it there is an exposed section, so it really is only a place to store the literature provided by the airline. There's quite a decent tray table here, and as with my Lufthansa video you'll see there's 2 cup holders and there's a small amount of adjustability on there as well. Certainly plenty enough space for you to enjoy a drink or snack on board, or maybe conduct a little bit of business with your laptop. If we look a little bit further down the seat, you'll see the legroom was pretty good on today's flight. Certainly not class leading, but it was comfortable for this short trip from Milan to Brussels. And you'll also find a small netted pocket in front of you, which is just big enough for some small personal items. Overall, I had a pretty comfortable flight on this aircraft. Here's a look at the Brussels Airlines fleet and some of their special livery aircraft. Let me know which one your favourite is, but for me, I've got to go with the Smurfs. The Brussels Airlines frequent flyer programme is called Loop, and you can earn loops whenever you travel with the airline. But don't forget they are also members of the Star Alliance, so you can earn miles and points through the Miles and More programme to use on a number of airlines worldwide. As we approach Brussels, a quick reminder to please subscribe to the channel for future content, and you can also track my travels as they happen by checking out my social media accounts, details of which are on the screen.
We are now approaching Brussels, and we have just initiated our descent, so you may continue using all hand telephone devices in flight safe mode. Laptops can be stowed away now.
And welcome to Belgium. I've just arrived in Brussels on a great flight of Brussels Airlines, and at this point of the video I'd like to share with you my final thoughts on the trip. Starting off with Milan's Linate airport. It's a little bit old-fashioned in places. You can see that obviously it's a much older designed airport compared to some of the much more modern airports you may have seen on this channel, but it did have a decent selection of retail outlets and of course restaurants as well. On board the aircraft, I was very pleased today. The A319 cabin was very bright and airy in my opinion, and the seat itself was very comfortable, had a decent amount of leg room. I would also say the crew on board today's flight were very professional indeed. They were engaging with the passengers, they dealt with a couple of niggly issues very swiftly with some passengers in the cabin, and also they were very useful in making announcements after landing about which gate your connecting flight would be departing from, a big help to those passengers travelling onwards elsewhere. And then the value for money on board today, they had a decent selection of drinks and snacks on board, which was relatively well priced. The one thing I'd say is there are different fare classes of Brussels Airlines. Do make sure you're aware of that when you book. You can of course have your business class fare, there's also the flex fare, and then light, which is what I travelled with today. In light you do pay for drinks and snacks, in the other classes you are provided with one on board. But overall I had a really nice experience with Brussels Airlines today. I'd certainly choose them again, and I do hope you've enjoyed the trip with me today. As always, please do subscribe for future content on this channel, and of course, take care.